Hello there, this is Miriam from Pain Outside the Box, and today our topic is going to be your investment in your chronic pain or symptoms. So what do I mean by investment? So on a conscious level, obviously, if you have chronic pain or symptoms that's been going on for a while, you obviously want to get rid of them. You want to find a solution that helps you overcome your pain. And some of you might already know that a lot of chronic pain or symptoms are due to an emotional component, okay, what we call stress illness, and that they develop as a result of our emotions, usually emotions that are negative and that build up to a certain point. And then they manifest in the form of pain or symptoms. So that's what mind-body syndrome is about. So I'd like to talk about this topic of investment in relation to mind-body symptoms only, of course, and not in relation to any other acute symptoms or illnesses that require medical treatment first and foremost. Okay, so how invested are you in your chronic pain or symptoms? Now you might answer me back telling me, of course I'm not invested at all, I want to get rid of these symptoms. But the thing is, by the way that we sometimes create meaning around the symptoms, we are actually investing our negative attention in the symptoms, and that doesn't help with recovery. And today I'm going to be discussing one form of investment that I notice in a lot of people, and that's when you tend to latch on to a story. So when people tend to invest themselves in a story, usually relating to a past experience that somehow has to do with the onset of symptoms. So it could be someone who is still recalling the original accident, let's say, that has led to the symptoms, or to a bad injury, or someone who's blaming symptoms on a surgery that wasn't successful, or on a medication maybe. Even more lately, some individuals have blamed their chronic symptoms on a vaccine they've taken. So it's this kind of investment, this kind of blame story that I want to be discussing, because it's crucial that if you want to recover from mind-body symptoms, that you acknowledge that you have power today and that you don't stay stuck with this blame, because obviously in that way you will be powerless to actually overcome your symptoms in the present day. So from experience, I can say that whatever happened in the past, if you've had symptoms for a very long time and they've changed and maybe they've moved around, maybe they've developed, it is very unlikely that whatever happened in the past, let's say 10 years ago or even like a year ago, it's very unlikely that it's still triggering your symptoms today. What triggers your symptoms today is your beliefs around the symptoms, your emotional state, okay, your stress levels, for example, okay, and the way that you interpret the symptoms, how scared you are of the symptoms, how you perceive them. And this is the theory behind mind-body healing, right? If you are embarking on this work, you need to work on the assumption that you have a certain control over your symptoms and that you can work with your symptoms in the present day. So each time your mind goes back to an event that maybe has triggered the symptoms or something similar, okay? Maybe a traumatic event like an accident. Each time you do this, you are taking your power away and giving it to that initial incident. Some people also take it as far as trying to sue a person or a doctor or a company for the symptoms that they have today, without having concrete evidence or proof that really that initial treatment or that initial accident has caused their symptoms or is continuing to cause their symptoms today, okay? Now, I'm not saying here that you shouldn't ask for compensation that's due. Of course, if you had a car accident and it wasn't your fault, you have every right to fight for compensation, right? But just be careful of how much energy you are investing in this quest for compensation. It's very likely that you are using up a lot of negative energy in trying to get compensated or in trying to prove that you are right, okay? Usually these undertakings take up a lot of our energy in a really negative way. We feel resentful, we feel angry each time we recall them, each time we are involved in them, each time we go to our lawyer, okay? We are bringing up these negative memories and these negative emotions each and every time. And if you know something about mind-body syndrome, you will know that you cannot heal if your dominant emotional state is negative, if you're living in anger, if you're constantly recalling memories that make you feel, powerless or like a victim or resentful. If you're living in resentment, it's very difficult to heal from chronic pain or symptoms, because this ongoing resentment that's blocked inside of you is one of the elements that's actually causing your symptoms to persist. So I'd just like to make you aware of this, because it's very common that people keep on thinking, but what if that vaccine actually caused everything? What if it's due to that medication I've taken in the past? What if it's due to the mold in my house, or the toxins in the food? And I can tell you that in most cases, this is really not the case, okay? Many other people eat the same food as you. Many other people are exposed to mold. Many other people have taken the same medication, okay? And I'd like to exclude here any instances where there is evidence of, let's say, things like organ failure, okay, or injuries, or nerve damage, okay? I'm trying to exclude these cases here because, of course, there are exceptions. But what I notice happens in most cases is that a lot of people have chronic symptoms, they can't resolve them, and then they start looking for external evidence of what might have caused it. So instead of looking within, they look without, like they look for external factors, and they like to blame their current symptoms on these external factors. Because, of course, as human beings, we like to make sense of things. And also as human beings, we really don't like to take responsibility or maybe admit that we have a part to play when it comes to the generation of our own pain or symptoms, okay? That's a painful truth to acknowledge for a lot of people. So what they do instead is they look outside of them. Oh, that doctor didn't help me. That medication caused these horrible side effects. Maybe this is why my body is broken now, okay? These kinds of reasonings are extremely damaging, and they can severely block recovery. In fact, they block recovery completely. You can't move on unless you let go of the blame, okay? So instead of saying that your body is damaged or might be damaged because of whatever happened in the past, acknowledge that what happened in the past had its immediate consequences in the past, okay? And then your body was very likely able to heal. What happens in most cases is that symptoms become chronic because of our own fear around them, because in the meantime we develop mistrust of our body, and because of other stressors that keep us in this negative emotional state, including the very repetition of painful memories. So unless you have proof, but concrete scientific proof, please let go of the blame. Please stop blaming your food, the mold in your house, the doctor you had 10 years ago, okay, the surgery you had 20 years ago, for whatever you're experiencing today. You have power to change whatever you're experiencing today if you change your dominant emotional state, if you acknowledge your role in it, and if you work on balancing and relaxing your nervous system, okay, which is basically what the rest of my videos are about. So just have a look at what you are still blaming your symptoms on and decide what you can let go of today. Don't keep recalling that memory. Don't keep telling other people what happened to you back then and why you're in pain today because of what happened to you back then. Just cut out that habit, and believe me, you will notice a difference very soon. That's all from me for today, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.